We have a completely crazy day today. Today is the day that we leave for our vacation, and we have a jam-packed morning. We're trying to pack up the rig and pack up the cats, our usual moving routine, except that we have to actually pack suitcases for the 3 weeks that we're going to be gone. So today we have to accomplish moving the rig, taking the rig to where we're going to store it for 3 weeks. Then we have to take the cats to the vet to put them in the kitty spa for 3 weeks. They're going to hate us for that. And then we go to our hotel. It's fun and exciting, but it's also stressful because we do have deadlines because of places closing at certain times. So we have to get there, plus we have a time change difference. It's going to be wild. Stick with us. I am pooped, and we haven't even gotten through this phase of packing up yet. Packing for today is just so different because normally when you're relocating, you don't have to do a lot of the things that we do today. Like, we have to make sure that all the dishes are actually cleaned and put away dry, because I don't want to leave them sitting in the rig wet for 3 weeks. And we also had to completely clear out the fridge. I need to do a little bit of cleaning yet. That's an empty egg box up there. Because the rig's not going to have any power while we're gone. So that puts a whole new level of getting the rig ready. We made it through phase 1 of day 1 of our vacation. We are now on the road, headed to Knoxville to drop the rig off where it will be stored. Cats were a little bit more of a challenge to get in the truck this time. They knew something was going on, something different, and so they both hid behind the recliners, and we had trouble getting them out. They don't normally do that, but we did finally get them out. They know something's up. And oh my gosh, the cats have just done their business in the litter. Thank goodness we have a litter box in their cage in the back. Oh yeah, another big challenge of this move today, if I can breathe, was that normally we don't have to worry about suitcases, but the back seat is completely occupied by the cat carrier, and so we have suitcases and computer bags, and it was a challenge to figure out where to put them. So we're here at our dealership, which is where we're going to store the rig for 3 weeks, and they're pulling it around to the storage lot. Phase 2 complete. We've dropped the rig off. Now we're on their way to take the cats to the kitty spa.
You know, we live in a fifth wheel. A lot of people think that when you're living in your fifth wheel or your RV in general, that you're on vacation all the time. And initially, I think everybody thinks that, even when we first moved into it. But we realized we just live there. It's a different place. It's not a house anymore. We still have to work. We still have chores, duties, responsibilities, and they take time.
We just dropped the kitty cats off at the kitty spa. I broke down and cried. It's the longest we will have left them.
Yeah, Pokey was actually quite of a trooper. Shorty was a little bit of a pill, but he will adapt, I'm sure. He's very adaptable.
They're supposed to send us text messages with updates and pictures and all that stuff, so we'll get to hear what they're up to while we're gone. Let's go find some lunch.
Okay.
Well, that was an excellent lunch. We were pretty hungry because we hadn't eaten all day and it was 2 o'clock. So we went to Archer's Barbecue in Knoxville. Oh my gosh, it's the best brisket I've ever had. I mean, and that includes all of Texas and Oklahoma. Usually brisket's dry and you have to smother it with sauce, and it's just kind of gross, so I just kind of give up on it. In fact, I didn't even use sauce. I didn't even want to because it would have hidden the natural flavor of the meat. This stuff was moist and tender and juicy. Wonderful. And thanks to Bishop and Cameron for their great advice on the meat and the sides. We will be back. We finally made it to our hotel in Knoxville, and we're leaving in the morning. So we are going to shower. Obviously, we need that shower and maybe get some dinner when we feel hungry and go to bed. See you tomorrow. We have a one-day layover in Los Angeles, so we have decided to do basically an all-day bus tour to see the city today.
It's kind of touristy, but we figured that this was probably the most efficient use of our time, letting the other experts drive the LA traffic and at least showing us the highlights, and we can act like tourists for a day.
Yeah, we definitely did not want to be driving around the city.
It's crazy.
So is this the first time you're taking the tour in Los Angeles? You'll see it. It's a lot of traffic, but don't worry about it. Nothing we can do. It's a part of the tour. That's why the tour finishes late, because of traffic. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's do it. So this is a very famous building in Los Angeles, folks, and which is part of Music Center, where all these artists play music concert here. Owned by Walt Disney. That's the entrance you see on your right here. Walt Disney Concert Hall here in downtown Los Angeles. I will stop here for 5 minutes to take pictures, so you can take pictures here. This is a very famous building here.
Exciting. This is where the LA Phil plays, where Dudamel conducts. He's one of my favorite conductors.
Los Angeles was U.S. bought Mexico, you know that this land from Mexico in a war, Mexican war. So that time it was Mexico, and this was the place here. This was the only place in Los Angeles at the time, in 1848.
The Hollywood sign.
Our bus driver and tour guide said that this is the church where the movie Sister Act was filmed. Hey, yo, Rachel. You see the stars on the sidewalk, babe? We're approaching the Hollywood Walk of Fame and Grauman's Chinese Theater. Our bus driver let us out to roam around for a while. hard to know where to stand, huh?
Yeah.
Here is the famous Pink's hot dog stand. As you can see, it's pretty crowded. This is touted as being a celebrity place to hang out. There is one in Las Vegas, also at the Planet Hollywood, where I think it used to be the Planet Hollywood. We ate there. The hot dogs are kind of cool. They have some different varieties. It's worth the stop. We have stopped at the farmers market on our bus tour to have some lunch, and this very much resembles Disney. I'm sure it's not a coincidence. And look right here, Janet and Katie, the store on the corner, American Girl Place. If you just plopped here, you'd probably think you were in Disneyland.
Very famous stand-up comedy club here on Sunset Strip is called Laugh Factory. A lot of artists performs in this one here, where actor Tim Allen performs every month here. This is a stand-up comedy club called Laugh Factory here on Sunset, where Elvis Presley used to come and eat hamburgers and hot dog here. It's a very old restaurant, Connie's Hot Dog and Hamburger. See right here, comedy store. Very famous stand-up comedy club here on Sunset. All these artists' name on the wall right there. American Graffiti and the Melrose Place. Mel's Drive-In. Chris Rock, Arsenio Hall, and actor Rob Schneider perform in this one here, folks. Very famous stand-up comedy club, Whiskey A Go-Go. And this is the entrance right there where all these artists perform in this one here. Whiskey A Go-Go. You see on your right here, this is the famous Roxy, rock and roll club here on Sunset. Next to Roxy is a restaurant, a very famous restaurant, also owned by Roxy, and this is Rainbow Bar and Grill. And this was a restaurant where Marilyn Monroe and the baseball player Joe DiMaggio had the blind date in 1953 in this restaurant.
Now we're coming up on Marilyn Monroe's first house.
And on the right, folks, is the Fox Studios. And this is the front entrance, folks, of Fox Studios.
Okay, we took a tour of the city, extended tour, and it was really kind of fun.
We're having a little trouble with the recording of this because we're in a hotel and everything is either too dark or too noisy, so this is where we had to record.
We found a place that was bright enough, but there was a water fountain in the back, and it sounded like somebody was just taking a leak into a toilet. We thought that was probably not the place to go ahead and record this little segment. We went to the gym. It was bright enough, but there was all kinds of noise in there. So we came out to this conference center area with the bar to our foreground and the TVs with the Monday Night Football on all around us. So please excuse any technical difficulties we might be having.
No idea how the audio is going to be. At any rate, we took an all-day bus tour in Los Angeles, and it turned out to be a good thing for us to do all day because
The key being all day.
all day. Yes, we're pretty wiped out. Driving is not something that you want to do in Los Angeles unless you're really familiar with where you're going. Traffic is just a nightmare here, but it wasn't too bad with a tour bus because we got to go to places where we wouldn't have gone if we had driven ourselves.
In fact, with the tour bus passes, we were able to see things and do things which we would not have been able to accomplish had we been in our own privately operated vehicle.
Yeah, like for instance, they dropped us off at the Griffith Observatory. We weren't able to go in because it's closed on Mondays, but it provided us a great view of the Hollywood sign up on the hill.
Also, it showed us Griffith Park with all its multiple trails, and I tell you, I really enjoyed looking at that. There were people who rode up the steep hill to the Griffith Observatory, and I laud those guys who could ride the bikes like that.
There's of course, some beautiful homes in that neighborhood too.
Yeah, the tour bus guy said that the minimum starting price was around $7 million.
Yeah.
So we thought, maybe we could pick up a fixer-upper for maybe $5 million, and we could have a great deal. But all in all, we had a great day today. We were in Los Angeles. We saw the old part of the city. We saw the historical part of the city. We went to the farmers market, which is a bunch of really nifty restaurants all crammed into one block. And we also went to the various outlying towns, Beverly Hills.
We also went to Santa Monica and Venice Beach. Got to see the vast difference between those two areas.
And it was just all in all a good day. We only had a one-day layover in Los Angeles. And we thought, let's just play tourist. Let's take the tour, get the highlights. As our driver said, if you see anything you like, come back on your own later on and enjoy it. But this was a taste of many areas of Los Angeles. But I tell you, we would not have been able to accomplish this on our own.
Yeah, so it is definitely worth it. I think the tour was like, we got it from our hotel, and it was like $76, $79 a piece, something like that. But it sounds expensive, but really, I'm not kidding, it was an all-day tour, and they drove you everywhere, and you couldn't have rented a car and paid for gas and gone through all the frustration of trying to find all these places.
Plus, being newbies in the town, we wouldn't have known about a lot of these places. You could have done research, you could have plotted maps, and even if you'd done the exact route we did, you could not have done the same things we did because of tour bus parking and
he dropped us off a few places, so just dropped us off. We went and saw whatever we wanted to see, and then he came back and picked us up. So we didn't have to worry about parking or anything. That was fantastic. Because even when we went up to the Griffith Observatory, you have to, if you have your own car, you have to find a place to park.
And pay for it.
Excuse us.
That was the ice delivery.
As I was saying, you have to find a place to park along the road and pay $6. Was it $6 an hour?
Something
I think
like
it
that.
was.
If you went up to the Griffith Observatory on your own, in your own privately owned vehicle, you could not have done what we did because of the parking fees and even just finding a place to park.
Yeah, you would have wasted so much more time. So we highly recommend doing the bus tour. So, gonna hit the hay tonight, and tomorrow
It's off to Kona. We're going to Kona, Hawaii. That's the Big Island. People refer to it as the Big Island, but its official name is Hawaii. And the state is named Hawaii too, and that is somewhat confusing to a lot of people. But in the unification of the islands, the island that won got to name the state, and the island that won was Hawaii. So the big island with King Kamehameha was the winner, and it got to name the state. And so now that it is a state, it's confusing, and people have to refer to the island of Hawaii as the big island, because if you say, well, I'm going to Hawaii, they'll just say, what island are you going to?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to the island of Hawaii. And
a lot of people don't realize that Hawaii is actually made up of several islands. So we've run across several people who are a little geography challenged.
And we're going to the Big Island. That's where Kilauea. We're going to the Big Island. That's where Kilauea is active. It's been active since God knows when, but I think it was the 1980s that it started to erupt for real. Of course, with the press of the houses being torn down and burned, everybody's cautious. They want to know how we're going to drive our RV into the volcanoes. And we assure them that, one, we're not going to drive the RV, and two, we're not going to be anywhere near the volcanoes.
That is true. And seriously, we have had people ask us quite seriously, what highway do you take to drive to Hawaii? Like I said, geographically challenged.
There is Interstate 1 in Hawaii, and we kind of wonder why it's called an interstate.
Yeah.
And I guess it's because it's built to interstate standards, but I don't know of any state that actually connects with it.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't think it even connects to one of the other islands.
And it is part of the U.S., which is another thing that you get when you go over there. It's like, well, when are you going back to the States? Well, we're in the States. It's called, you go to the mainland.
It's the mainland. Yeah, the lower 48 if you're in Alaska, and it's the mainland if you're in Hawaii. So, you know what? We spent most of our time in the lower 48 or the mainland. But one special thing is we got married in Hawaii.
That we did.
And that was a long time ago. So,
all right, so
this is a anniversary type tour that we're taking.
Anniversary trip.
An anniversary trip. And so we're going to go to that with an open mind, and we're going to have fun. My sister's going to join us, and one of our daughters is going to join us later on. And of interest, she graduated from University of Hawaii, and the first time that my wife, my two daughters, and her two daughters were all together was at the graduation of our daughter from the University of Hawaii. We might be able to rummage up an old picture or two of that, because that was pretty fabulous.
Probably do that. Yeah.
And so we're not totally Kamina, we're not totally Kauai, but we're going to have a lot of fun when we get out there.
All right, so stick with us for the next adventures to Hawaii, and aloha.
Aloha.
If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more, subscribe to our channel. It's free. Once you have subscribed, click the bell icon to be notified when we post a new video. Thanks for watching.